Hey, young people, we're back. Part 2. This is a defense attorney. This prosecution team over here. Defense is over here. He is questioning the officer, the case agent. In a prelim, the case agent gets to testify for all the other officers. So you don't bring in, if there's 50 officers, you don't have to bring them all in. You just bring in the case agent and he interviews. He can read their statements in. He can say, I talked to the officer I interviewed. Here's what his statement says. So they allow that in a preliminary hearing. However, in front of a jury trial, you have to go with best evidence. So the actual 50 officers, each one of them has to come in if you want to get their statement in, which is why when when that DA tried to hide that report that me and my lieutenant did in that death penalty case, when they had a crooked lieutenant get up there and lie about what we said, he said that we said it was okay when we didn't say it was okay. But the defense objected, and the prosecution goes, oh, well, I plan on calling those 2 witnesses, Your Honor. But this was in front of the jury, so he shouldn't have been able to testify what we said. But they snuck it in, and then they end up never calling us. So the jury only heard what he said we said, which was a lie, but they believed it. And that was where the big thing started with me and the DA trying to hide evidence. But anyway, so that's why this cop gets to answer for all the other cops right now, because it's not in front of the jury. And the jury, each witness has to come in. All right? So here we go.
Occasion to talk on the phone a couple of times.
Yes, sir.
Assisting you and getting you cell phones and Mr. McMichael's truck. Is that correct?
That is, sir. Yes, sir.
Beyond that, we haven't really talked much about the case.
That's correct, sir.
We appreciate you being here today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, appreciate you being here. Very nice. Very nice. The defense attorney, what he's doing now is what's called establishing a relationship. He's trying to say, you're my friend, we're buddies, we're not enemies, we're very cordial, we're very professional, and we're just trying to get to the truth. The cop knows his bullshit, and the defense attorney knows his bullshit. But the rest of the people don't know. It's like, oh, that's very nice, the way they get along and they can talk. That's not, this guy knows this defense attorney's main job is to discredit him and make him look stupid and screw it up. The defense attorney's not worried about the truth. He's worried about getting his client off. So cops know that.
One of the things that we asked you to do when you came to court today was to bring your case file. That term, case file, is that a term that you recognize?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay. Did you bring your case file with you today?
What I brought today was the written documentation for our case.
Objection, Your Honor. That he's not answering what I asked him. Did you bring the case file? That's a closed-ended question. That means it should be answered with a yes or no. An open-ended question is, can you explain why you didn't bring the case file? He's answering as if he was asked, can you explain why you didn't bring it? When the attorney asked him, did you bring it? So an astute juror will pick this up as deception. A cop knows, and the defense knows, that this cop is like, how can I get out of this? So this cop is trying to cover his ass right now because he did not want to bring the case file. Because any notes and things that he brings in has to be discovered to the defense. So the defense, I guarantee you the DA specifically told him, don't bring the case file. Even though that's illegal. Even though he's not supposed to tell him that. And maybe he's not, maybe he's more of a legal attorney, a DA that wanted to try to be a thing. Maybe he said to the cop, hey, you know, they want you to bring the case file, but if it's really big or you're busy and you don't have time to get to it, don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt us if you don't bring it. It'll probably help us. So he didn't actually tell him not to bring it then, right? Because attorneys and DAs are honest and they want to get to the truth and they want to follow the law because they're in the law things like cops and judges and attorneys. They want to follow the law, right? No, it's bullshit. I guarantee you the DA told him, yo man, you don't have to bring that. The defense wants it. Fuck them. If they want it, they'll get it when we're done with it. It's still an open case. So now he's going to try and smooth why he didn't bring it. When in fact, I guarantee you, The DA didn't want him to bring it.
Case file, our case report, I guess you would say. The attachments to my case file are over 40 gigabytes of data at this point, and it's stored on a server in Atlanta, and the time required to download it remotely is rather long, so I was not able.
Are you kidding me? You can't download 40 gigabyte. My videos that I put up that are 30 minutes are 2 and 3/4 gigabyte. On a decent internet, that shit can be downloaded within a few hours. It's not like he's making it sound like it would take days to download 40 gigabytes. Are you kidding me? See, this is where cops lose credibility. This is where they try to think they're outsmarting everyone else. And he may outsmart a lot of people. I'm a seasoned investigator. He ain't outsmart me. That's a bullshit answer. You know damn well. Now, I'd have no problem if you say, look, in the case file, there are statements that are incomplete. I haven't documented. There's things that aren't finished. There's also partial of search warrants that I have not served or written yet. And if I bring that information and you get it, it could compromise my investigation. It could also aid and abet people to interfere with my search warrant. I haven't ran it past a judge yet. I haven't got it approved. And I haven't got a sealing order, so you can't talk about it. So me bringing it in here today would expose that and would interfere with my investigation. And that's why I didn't bring it. I would have no problem with that answer. He's being honest. But what he's giving is a bullshit answer. And those that don't know it should know it.
Able to obtain the attachments. But the case file which is our case reports, I was able to obtain, but many of those are incomplete, partially typed, unapproved.
Notice he was using his head up and down earlier with the DA, and his head is going back and forth now a little more. Rick, you're just picking on him because he's hair follically challenged. Whatever.
Again, this is an ongoing case, and the way our system works is you input the report, and then it has to be checked by the agent to make sure it's correct and this kind of thing. So is it the way the system works that you didn't bring it, or is it because it's really big and you couldn't download it? Because it sounds like you're giving me two different answers. I asked you why you didn't bring it, and you gave this long, convoluted answer about how big it was and how large, and now you're trying to explain how the system works. Why didn't you bring the file? And the defense didn't get on him like they've gotten on me before. Answer to your questions, yes.
Okay, good.
So he smiles, shakes his head. Yeah. I'm trying to be cooperative. None of this was bullshit. That was an honest answer. Please.
Appreciate that. And so what you're holding in your hand right there, that's not the case file. Those are just some notes.
That's correct, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
And have you had a chance to review the case file prior to your testimony today so that you could be prepared to answer as many questions as you could?
Yes, sir. I have reviewed some of the summaries that are part of the case file. Again, it's not complete. Actions have been taken and the reports have not been generated yet in reference to the case because of the time it's taken to conduct the investigation.
Excuses. A jury will be able to see through this. Why is he stalling? Why isn't he? He's not coming across to me as upfront and honest right now. Rick, you just don't like him because he's a cop and you ain't cop. People, I'm just telling you how it goes on a stand. You can take it or leave it. It's just my opinion.
Your testimony on direct has been very complete. You don't seem to have any issues remembering anything up.
So this is what's called backing you into a corner. This is a great play by the defense. They use it all the time. And in front of the jury, it makes you look like you're lying and you're withholding. And it's very true. When the defense asked you questions, it was almost as if you knew all the answers. And you were very prepared. And you didn't stall. And there wasn't any excuses about things not being finished and how big the case file. There was no excuses for the prosecution whatsoever. Now, I got all kind of excuses. Why is that, officer?
At this point, so it seems like you've done a good job at reading the case file.
Now he's going to kiss him before he screws him. Seems like you've really done a really good job, and you're really on top of it. Get ready. Clench your butt cheeks. Here it comes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And as the lead agent in the case, does that mean that all of the agents that are working the case with you report directly to you?
Yes, sir. They conduct the interviews or investigative act and then report back to me at the results or salient details in reference to it.
Okay. And you had an opportunity, even though some of those reports aren't written yet, but to speak to those officers and those agents prior to your testimony today?
Yes, sir.
Pull the damn mic down. Jesus Christ, man. Now, see, this is where a seasoned DA would have pulled him over. Or, I mean, I've had DAs, when I get up there in a case, and if I've done something like this, the DA will actually come up when she asks a question and bend the mic and put it in front of me. Because I'm so concentrating on the case and keeping my story right and not messing up and not missing a step and trying to remember this case and not another case and trying not to remember as soon as this is over, I got a play to go to tonight, or I'm meeting my girl and we're going, I'm trying to stay focused on this case and distracted and you didn't pull down the mic. So somebody usually on your team will come over and fix your freaking mic for you. I've even had sheriffs come over and adjust the mic because he doesn't know how loud he's coming across, and you'll notice sometimes he leans over, sometimes he doesn't. And when you do that, it's very irritating for people who can't hear you.
That's correct.
Okay, great. You've mentioned that your investigation is ongoing. What about your investigation is still ongoing?
Okay, so this is a good point because he's trying to see where they're going with this case. If you charge somebody, normally your case is pretty decent. You've got all you've got is kind of what we call cleanup. You don't charge somebody if you've got a case that's, like they're saying, ongoing. You wouldn't charge somebody too quickly because then you don't have your ducks in line. You don't have the best case. When you go and put a case in you trial, you want to put the best case forward. You want to have all the facts. You don't want to bring up shit later. Now, DAs can file this case early, and then the defense can't complain about discovery. Because if the case is ongoing, that means they only have to testify now what they know now. But now, as soon as they get out of this prelim hearing, if they really start doing their investigation, if they had all these leads that they want to follow up on now, and they get all this new information, they can hold this discovery. Because it's not discoverable till they know it. And usually they hang on to it, and it's still ongoing, and we haven't got the results of the test. And so the longer they can keep it from the defense, the shorter time the defense can figure out how to plan their defense. So that's kind of what's going on here.
We are still conducting, I've got a few interviews to conduct. We are still waiting on the results from various search warrants for records to come back to us.
What kind of records?
Judge, at this point, I'm going to object to...
Objection! I don't want him knowing what we're doing. But Rick, I thought the court was to get to the truth. That's because you're an idiot. The prosecution, the government, the one that holds all the cards with all the advantages, they don't want to play by the rules. They don't want to discover everything. They don't want the defense to have a fighting chance. This case is weak from the jump street. You've already got 2 prosecutors that reviewed it and said, I ain't charging this. This is a weak-ass case. Now, maybe the prosecutors didn't know about the N-word. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. Does that change the case? Does that one word change whether or not you file? For some people who are so triggered and so want to get these guys, that's all. It doesn't. The wind blows could be enough.
To relevance. It seems outside the scope of the issue.
Another thing the DA did is he saw him kind of hemming and hawing. So he knows that there's things that he's doing that he doesn't want to tell the defense yet. And so now the DA is trying to give him cover and protect him. He's also giving him time to get his thoughts together on how he can answer the question without giving the full truth. Even though omission of the truth is a lie by definition, cops do it, crooks do it, defense attorneys do it, DAs do it all the time. You answer the question to where you're answering it truthfully, but you didn't just tell everything.
Which is very narrow of what is the probable cause for the basis of these warrants.
I will allow the question.
Thank you, Judge. What kind of records?
The judge allows most things in a prelim, whereas in court he may not when you're in front of a jury. Well, Rick, what's the difference if we're trying to get the truth? The difference is he doesn't want to let things, nobody's affecting the jury in this. He's trying to get as much information as he can so he can make a better decision, which is exactly what we should do for jurors. But they don't. For jurors, they want to protect them. They decide what the jurors can hear and what they can't hear, and then people get pissed off when jury doesn't know the full story and they find a person some crazy-ass finding, like OJ was innocent. And they withheld so much shit from the jury that if you watch anything on the AJO trial, you're like, how the hell could a jury vote not guilty? Well, they didn't get probably half of the freaking facts because it was withheld from them. Whereas judges, that's why the old saying, if you know you're innocent, don't go to jury, go to a judge. Because a judge gets all the information. And he's more likely to rule innocent because he'll have all the information. When you go with a jury, they don't get all the information. But you're betting that you only got to convince or confuse one person on the jury to get off. So that's why if you're guilty, pick a jury trial. If you're 100% innocent, pick a judge. That's a theory. I'm not saying it's correct or always done.
It would be telephone records, social media records, those records, search warrants are out pending, as well as the digital analysis of cell phones and electronic items that were seized. Those are in the hands of technicians, but there is a delay in reviewing those records, I think, because of some legal concerns that have been raised involving privilege.
Okay. What is it
So I'm going to lose a little bit of body language because I just bumped it up to a quarter.
that you're looking for exactly, and how does it fit into your case?
Judge, I have to object. I think that's fishing and not relevant.
Objecting, fishing. Well, the defense doesn't have to fish if they get all discovery and they know. If he had brought his case file and that was discovered so the prosecution could ask him a question he could look, it wouldn't be fishing. But because he's trying to ask things that the defense or that the prosecution isn't prepared for him to ask yet, the prosecution doesn't want it asking. Again, the deck and cards are always stacked in the favor of government, the DA, the cops, the system, which is why government and cops should be held to a higher standard. DAs, everybody in the system should be held to a higher standard, especially on government side, because they have all the advantage. They have all the power.
The issue of probable cause, which is the facts and circumstances leading to the death on February 23rd of 2020.
I would allow the question.
Well, it depends
Judge allowed it. Again, he doesn't care. He wants the information.
on the various items or what we're looking for. Of course, each...
You mentioned phone records, cell phones, and social media.
Yes, sir. During this case, it came through interviews. We've established that communication was made in reference to the incident through social media. There is also...
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your answer.
Okay, there were communications that were made about the
So see, he didn't hear, so he moved closer to the microphone instead of bending the microphone down in front of him.
shooting
By whom?
by Greg McMichael through Facebook. He posted about it through Facebook, as well as contact was made from witnesses to him through Facebook, which subsequently followed up with a call from him to at least one witness where he described what occurred.
Talking seeks more criminals. When you take the fifth to not talk to the cops, don't talk to your girlfriend, don't talk to your other friends, don't talk to your parents, don't talk to other cops, don't talk to other career criminals, don't talk to anybody. That's what's very hard to do. Social people, especially under stress, like to talk. It makes them, you just feel better when you talk about something. And government uses that to the full extent, and with social media, with phones, with recordings, with jailhouse recordings, with recordings in the cameras everywhere. I mean, people just sink their own boat.
There's also been pictures of the crime scene posted on social media by some of the McMichael family.
Do you know who posted them?
I do.
This time?
Lindsay McMichael posted at least one. She has admitted to posting one photo.
Okay, here's where I think the defense kind of messed up a little bit. Hopefully the other attorneys got it out. He led with a good question like, what else is going on and what's your ongoing? And then as soon as the cop said one or two things, he started asking questions about those one or two things. So he defeated the purpose of his question and he didn't let the cop kind of hang himself. If I ask a question, what are you doing in your thing? I'm going to let you talk. I want you to get your thoughts. And then when you're finished, I'm going to go, okay, so pretty much what you just testified to is all that you're kind of looking into right now. Is there a possibility you forgot anything? No, that's pretty much it. Now you go back, that you let the cop finish his thought, and you go inch by inch, everything he mentioned one by one, and you ask questions. This defense attorney kind of jumped ahead of himself, and he interrupted him. He stopped his plain of thought, and now he doesn't have that clear answer. That's a defense attorney mistake in my book. He would have done much better by letting him say everything in the investigation, write it down, or have the court reporter read it back, and then go question by question on each thing that he brought up. Because then when he brings up something later, it'll be like, well, when I asked you earlier to give me everything, you gave me everything. I even asked you, is that everything that you can remember? Is there anything else? And you said no. But he didn't do that. The defense attorney got jumpy. He heard something that, oh, I didn't know about. I wonder where he's going with that. Boom. And he jumped on it like a freaking duck on a June bug. And now he lost the cop's train of thought, and he lost good information that he could have used.
Photograph of the crime scene. We have interviews with other witnesses that indicate there may be, or another witness indicates there may be more photos that were posted. So that's one of the search warrants we are exploring.
Okay. Anything?
Okay, you hear him say that's one of the search warrants we're exploring. That's going to be relevant here in a minute.
Else from social media?
Yes, sir. There is some comments that were made in reviewing Travis McMichael's cell phone concerning comments he had made about burglary in an area that occurred in the area that was posted on Satilla Shore's Facebook page. So we are seeking his Facebook records in reference to following up on those comments, as well as a comment he made through Instagram with the witness.
This guy's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. He's on YouTube now. I don't know if he's on YouTube before.
That we believe may be pertinent to this case.
Okay. And his comments on Facebook or Instagram, these are after the shooting or before?
Before.
Okay. And those are relevant to you about what was happening in the neighborhood? Is that what you're saying?
No, people are talking about that there's break-ins in their neighborhood. I believe in one comment, Travis McMichael makes a comment through his Facebook, arm up. And another comment, people are talking about that there was I believe it's an entering auto that occurred in the neighborhood. And he said, better hope they don't come to this side of the neighborhood.
Okay, so this seems really odd, huh? How many people does this seem odd to? People in our neighborhood hear of break-ins, they talk about arming up, and they better not come to my house. Who thinks that's odd? Am I the only odd one here? Because I think that's pretty freaking normal. That's exactly what I'd be saying. They're going to make this into a black and white thing, when in fact, it's just the way it is. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, whatever, alien. If you come to my house to break in, the rules are the same. You lose, I win. That's just the way it is. But they're going to try and make this into, ooh, these are these crazy white guys with their guns and their patriots, and they're just looking to go out and shoot a poor black guy who's out jogging for no reason. That's where this is going.
Okay.
Or they better hope they don't come to this side of the neighborhood.
And what is it that you understood he was referencing specifically?
I understood he was referencing conducting physical harm to whoever was entering the autos and doing.
Well, I'm also asking, I guess, what is it that he's referring to about break-ins in the neighborhood? Is there more specific details about that?
Yes. Through our review of the record, it appears that there were 2 entering auto reports, which includes his vehicle, somebody on.
See how the defense had to kind of dig? When he was trying to justify his arrest, these other reports in the neighborhood didn't come up. Because that's relevant on the state of mind of these guys, that why they had their guns and why they were chasing. There were previous burglaries. The burglaries were up. There was talk about it in the neighborhood. There was talk about it on Facebook. So that's all relevant to the state of mind of these people. Instead, they want to put the state of mind as white man saw black man running, we must get gun and shoot him. Yeah, that's what happened.
January 1st of 2020, he alleges that someone went into his unlocked truck and removed a firearm. There's also one other report in reference to an entering auto. I believe there's been reviewing the records from the Glenn County Police Department going back to July 1st. I believe there's one.
I don't like the way this cop closes his eyes a lot. I know he's just recalling facts. It could be good or bad, but it's not a good body behavior in my book.
Other allegation involving a theft, but in that report, the person.
And if you want to go back to when the defense was or the prosecution was talking to him, his friendly guy, the DA, he was looking at the DA almost all the time. He looks down a lot now, and he closes his eyes.
Is renting a room in a house and is alleging that the person in the house has stolen something from the room. And then there is one call in reference to a burglary, but there's no report attached to it. It appears that a burglary alarm went off, and that comes from a call report. But throughout the Satilla Shores Facebook page, there's discussion of those events and his related comments for reference to those events.
Okay. So this Satilla Shores Facebook page, is it your understanding that, I'm not talking about Mr. McMichael, I'm talking about Travis.
Okay.
That he was aware of what was happening with break-ins and burglaries in Satilla Shores?
Yes, sir. From that Facebook. Yes, sir. From those.
State of mind. He was aware. Good point.
Facebook group.
Yes, sir. And I believe there's also discussion amongst it. I know he was familiar with the February 11th, 2020 incident where he believed Mr. Arbery had went into the house under construction because he actually called 911 in that instance.
Okay. All right.
So we have a prior incident where Mr. Arbery was in a house and 911 was called. See, when you enter a house that's not yours, I know a lot of people don't understand that. They just think it's like normal to wander around and go into places that aren't yours. That's called trespassing.
So what you're looking for then is any statements made by him through social media about his knowledge of these break-ins and burglaries and what he has to say about them.
With the Facebook, yes, sir.
And then cell phone records. Are you looking for calls between individuals, or are you looking for things that he may have done on his phone?
Yes, sir. Calls, really, the day in question, his phone was present. His phone was used to call 911. It was downloaded by the Glenn County Police Department, but the time data for that 911 call was not captured during the phone download. So part of the cell phone request for records is hopefully to capture that communication as well as to show if there's any communication between parties.
Okay. I think you've also mentioned, I'm aware that you have sought Mr. McMichael's truck.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is it that you're looking for with his truck?
We actually,
Assist you in your investigation.
sure, we actually completed a search warrant on the truck. The belief was that his truck contained a computer module, which at that time I believe all modern vehicles did, but his turned out not to have a computer in the engine. But that can have data concerning devices that are connected to it, as well as various events that are recorded within those computer systems. His truck being present at the scene of the shooting, we were hoping to capture some of the data with that. Of course, the search warrant, once we got the truck and looked, there was no computer system in the truck. The search warrant also authorized us to photograph during the body camera footage from the day of the shooting. The toolbox of his truck is up, and there is a Confederate flag sticker displayed on the toolbox. So we sought a search warrant to document that as well.
Can somebody explain to me why a Confederate flag has anything to do with this case? And I know all you people be like, if you got a Confederate flag, you must be a racist because Black Lives Matter said that Confederate flags are bad and you can't have it. So even though there's states that have it, it's called a battle flag. It was part of our history. I mean, and I've got one hanging in my garage. I've never owned a Confederate flag until Amazon and everybody started making it outlawed and said, if you have it, you're a bad guy. And I don't like people telling me what I can have and what I can't. And I ordered it, and now I have one. So does that change who I am? Or does it say that I don't want to be told what I can and can't have? If you told me I couldn't have an ISIS flag, I might go buy one. You told me I couldn't have a Texas flag, I'd probably still have one. So, I mean, the fact that he has a rebel sticker on his car has nothing to do with this other than to play, oh, it must be a hate crime. Oh, he must hate black people because he said the N-word. And he had a rebel flag. Well, I hope these cops, or I hope these defense attorneys, are able to prove where he bought that and when he put it on, whether it was a gift, how long it's been there, if he bought that truck new, is that tailgate that he put in used? Did someone else put it there and it's just on there? Because just saying it's there to inflame the jury and not being able to prove that he put it there and why he put it there and where he bought it and why he bought it and what it means to him. But see, if he doesn't take the stand, They may have to get that in by one of his buddies. So they may call his buddy and go, are you aware that he had a rebel flag? Yeah, I gave that to him. Why did you give that to him? Because we're from the South, and the rebel flag is for the South, and it shows South pride. Oh, doesn't the rebel flag mean that everybody who has one hates black people? No, it don't mean that at all. Well, it means that in this case because we're charging him with a hate crime because he's got a rebel flag. Are you freaking kidding me? This is so BS, but I'm telling you, I tell people, don't put signs at your front gate that says we don't call 911. If I can see you, I can kill you. You're being watched by a rifle sight. All those things will be used just like an innocent rebel flag on the inside of a toolbox. Are you kidding me?
Well,
Going back to you coming onto the case, I think you were asked by the district attorney about how you got brought into the case.
yes, sir.
It sounded like that you testified that you called to see if you could lend some assistance to the investigation. Is that correct?
I did not, no, sir. I believe it was the director of my agency called.
Okay, that'd be Mr. Dick Reynolds?
I believe so, yes, sir, but I have not had a conversation with him about that. That's just my understanding.
You know him to be the director?
Oh, yes, I meant the call. I meant the call.
You're not sure if he made the call, but it was your agency that reached out to ask if they could get involved.
Yes, sir, that's my understanding.
Do you know why your agency asked to get involved?
I do not. That'd be a question for him, sir.
Okay, that's kind of a bullshit answer. He knows exactly why his agency. This was a high-profile case involving a white man and a black man, and you had two attorneys that already said, this is self-defense, we don't have enough, which I still agree with. I don't, look, I'm not saying Arbery should have died. I got to say that because I got all the idiots coming here saying, you just think a man should die because he's jogging. I don't think he should have died, but I also don't think he should have attacked a guy with a shotgun. I think had he gave up and had he raised his hands and called the police and handled it that way, it would have been better and he'd be alive. But he didn't. He attacked a guy with a loaded shotgun. He got shot. So you want to make it that he had no culpability in this. He went in a house, he was trespassing that he shouldn't have been in, and then he fought with a guy with a shotgun. But Rick, they were chasing him, trying to cut him off, and you don't know what would they have done? I mean, so he's in a neighborhood. Why not run to a house and say call 911? I mean, that's what most reasonable people would do. Most reasonable people aren't going to attack a guy with a shotgun. Most reasonable people with two brain cells are going to go, if I try to grab a loaded shotgun from a dude, that's probably the last thing I want to do because I'm probably going to get shot. That's what most people with two brain cells would do. Rick, you can't say that because he's dead and he's a hero. Whatever. Look, this is about getting to the facts and the truth and not about feelings. We're turning our courts into feelings like liberals do with every damn thing, and that means the truth doesn't matter. It's all about feelings. And that's subjective because liberals have different feelings than patriots do. I guarantee it. All right, we're at 32 minutes. I'll continue this. There's still a couple good questions coming. We'll make this part 2.